You are listening to an on-location, in-person episode of Talking Rock. I'm here with Joey Haney, and we are at the Rock and Pod Expo. Joey, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. I mean, this expo is it's overwhelming, and to even just be standing here face-to-face recording one of these instead of being on Skype, that's everything to me right now. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, and thanks to Chris Sinzak, especially from the Decibel Geek podcast, for putting this all together. We have all sorts of people here. There are numerous KISS podcasts. Greg Renoff, the great Van Halen historian and author of Van Halen Rising, is here. Michael Butler of the Rock and Roll Geek Show. John Astronomy is here. Of course, Joey Haney and Nola from the Rock Strikes 10 podcast. Nola, how are you?
Doing great. How are y'all?
We are good. We are good. And let's just talk about this history of podcasting, because it's really kind of come to a head here. History of rock podcasts. What are some of your earliest memories of rock podcasts that you were listening to, Joey?
That's easy. I mean, I will be honest. I'm standing next to you, Mark, but I got to be honest. Michael Butler was the first one, Rock and Roll Geek Show.
Yes.
Literally, when you get an iTunes account and you get an iPod for the first time, I was like, what's a podcast? And then there's a search engine. I type in rock and roll. That's the one you get.
Yes.
Subscribed. And then the next day, I literally went on the computer the next day and typed in heavy metal.
Right.
And I got Talking Metal. That's how it worked for me. Then I never looked back after that. So still weak loyal to both of those shows, because it's, I'm a pretty loyal guy. But at the same time, if you guys weren't putting out good episodes still, who would be listening? Right. So I gotta hand it to you guys for doing it after all these years. 12 years now, I believe, for you. I'm in my 5th or so year.
Yeah, it has been 12. It's like you say 12, and I'm like, well, maybe it's only been 11. But no, it's been 12 years this month. Talking Metal, one of my other podcasts. We are, of course, are doing Talking Rock, which Joey has kind of helped me relaunch. And we've been having some good conversation on rock music on this show, so I hope you join us. This is just kind of a special little brief episode here live from the recording live at the Rock and Pod Expo in Nashville, Tennessee on August 26, 2017. Let's talk some music. Joey, what shows do you have coming up?
Next month I got KISS in September.
Cool. Was it in Dallas?
Yeah, well, actually, Irving, Texas, which is the former home of the Dallas Cowboys, they just erected a new mini shed out there called the Irving Rock Pavilion or something. Okay. And Irving Music Factory Pavilion. Yeah, thank you, Nola. She's the good fact checker there. And yes, nice. So it's going to be on September 24th, and so it's going to be in September, something like that. Anyway, sorry, I'm so sorry, but there's a lot of people running around here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's going to be like, take your shed and kind of cut it in half.
Yeah.
And it's like a cool, almost like an intimate shed. Okay. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this new venue is like. So anything 10 minutes from my house, you've got me.
Right.
So I'll be going to more shows there. Scorpions, Megadeth in October, but looking forward to the KISS show, of course. They're in cruise mode right now, so hoping they'll bust out a few more obscurities they might have planned. Do a little beta testing beforehand.
Is this an official KISS tour? Or they're not really on tour right now, or are they? I don't know.
They're doing spots. They're doing blocks of shows throughout the year, because it's called the KISS World Tour. So it's literally all over the world, but they're doing brief dates in all parts of the world. Yeah.
Where do you think KISS go from here? I mean, it's Stanley's voice is not quite what it used to be. I always still have a great time when I see them. I haven't, of course, seen them since 2014 when I saw them in Las Vegas. That you were at that show too. 2 shows I saw out there. But where do they go? I for one, people are like, oh well, they're going to have trouble filling places if they go on tour again right now. I kind of disagree, because I know in the New York City, New Jersey area, they really haven't hit that market in a number of years. I think they could do well without Ace or Peter in the mix if they went out, and hit the major markets again. Some people disagree. what's the short-term future for Kiss? Because at this point, it is only a short-term future. Do you agree?
Yeah, and I think Simmons said recently, I mean, he'll say anything, but they said they have maybe 5 years left in them. I say the more vocal time, honestly, the more vocals you give in the show to Tommy and Eric, give Eric more leads. Eric can sing songs off Hotter Than Hell. Give it to him. Gene's been stepping up really well over the last few years. I mean, you saw him in Vegas. That's probably the best I've seen Gene since the reunion tour. He has really stepped up over the last few years. So the more Gene songs you can kind of squeeze in without it being too obvious,
right.
Take less load off Paul. That'll make the timer a little bit higher there. Like the shelf life will be extended quite a bit if you do those two things. Just concentrate on your strengths, just like you would do any live show.
Right on. Cool. What
I love
other?
Paul. That being said, I love Paul.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Me too. And what other shows do you got coming up? Kiss. Who else?
Scorpions, Megadeth.
Nice.
What else we got? She knows. She's the planner.
Chris Isaac.
Oh yeah.
Isaac. Very good.
You seen him live before?
No.
Okay. You a fan or not a fan?
I'm not. I have nothing against him, but I can't say I'm a fan. No, I just know the radio stuff.
Understood. Yeah, I would definitely go see him if you get a chance. He's one of those guys that's like, those like good-looking guys that they're so self-disparaging, they're almost kind of charming.
Yeah.
That's what he's like. I mean,
right.
He's down to wearing the Buck Owens jackets now because he's a little older.
Right.
So you get that kind of presentation. Like, he does a lot of covers, so you're going to be fine with most of his set list. Plays a lot of Elvis, a lot of Roy Orbison.
Oh, cool.
So, stuff like that, because he can sing them.
Yeah.
So there's that, and Michael Butler's here. Cool. So there's so, like, I'd go see him. He always says that they're the kings of semi-professional entertainment.
Right. Right on. Cool. And as far as new music that you're listening to, anything that you can think of that pops into your head?
I'd probably just repeating some of the stuff on the earlier episodes. I mean, the Alice record just came out recently. The Alice Cooper record is good. It's more good than bad. I'd say 3/4 super strong. Very strange they have Larry Mullen from U2 playing drums on that. That's such an odd thing. Yeah, and except for the 2 or 3 songs that Neil Smith plays on, Larry plays on the whole record. Yeah, thank you. We're going to see Eagles of Death Metal, by the way, in a couple of months. We're going to do 2 nights, San Antonio and Austin, so that means we're road tripping. They have a new live album out called I Love You All the Time, which is their return to Paris after the unfortunate attack. Okay, right. So there's a DVD and a CD out for that. That's a really high recommendation right there because they're at their peak right now. Yeah. Go see Eagles of Death Metal if they're headlining. Even if they're opening, they kind of stole it from Mastodon. I love Mastodon, right. But they kind of kicked their ass a little bit in a way. Yeah, they're playing Moon Age Daydream now. Oh, nice. Very cool. And Nola's been joining you now a lot on the Rock Strikes 10 podcast, the other podcast you do that you've been doing for a while now. Nola, are you enjoying... Whoa. Some craziness going on here. Nola, are you enjoying being a part of Rock Strikes 10?
Yeah, of course. I always have a blast when I come on. We enjoy each other's company and time, and so anytime that we get to go do something together and then talk about it, it's always really fun. It's like going back to that concert whenever we talk about it.
What have been some of your favorite concerts, Nola, when you look back over your lifetime of attending shows? Which ones stand out as some of your favorites?
Eagles of Death Metal. Every single time. They put on the best show. You can't sit down. You have to stand up. You have to shake your butt. And if you're not, then you're just a big old grump. Like, you can't not have fun at an Eagles show. Eagles of Death Metal show. Let me. Yeah.
Very good. Guys, definitely check out Joey and Nola on the Rock Strikes 10 podcast. This is Mark Striegel checking out on Talking Rock. We'll be back with a full episode soon. And, thank you. Checking out from the Rock and Pod Expo in Nashville, Tennessee, August 26th, 2017.